Hello everybody. Welcome to this session for foam rolling. We'll be covering 6 techniques to release tension and soreness in the legs. Using this handy dandy foam roller, it's a wonderful tool for post-workout recovery, weekly body maintenance, or as I mentioned earlier, relieving soreness and tension from certain areas. My foam roller is a travel roller. Most are wider, but since mine is for traveling, it's narrow. Whichever roller you have should work. Just make sure it's a cylinder that rolls. And safety first. If anything does not feel good, please do not continue with the technique. Stop doing it and rejoin whenever you're ready. It shouldn't cause any extreme pain or discomfort. And we only roll out the right leg in this session, which means you'll feel really good on the right leg afterwards, but you'll probably want to do the left as well. So to balance things out, do the left leg. After the video, you can just watch it again and do the opposite side, the left side. So technique 1, the IT bend. Come onto your right side. The right elbow is under the shoulder. It could be a little forward or back, but just make sure the shoulder is comfortable here. The roller comes on the outside of the right leg above the knee, and you start to roll up towards the hip about a third of the way. The speed at which you want to roll at is about 1 inch or 2.5 centimeters per second. However, you can go a little faster, slower, whatever feels the best for you. Slower is usually better. And if you want added intensity here, you're going to bring that left knee on top of the right. But if you want less intensity, the left foot comes on the ground. It also helps you balance. So once you're done with the first third, you're going to move from 1/3 up the outside of the top leg to about 2/3 up towards the hip. We don't want to roll over any bony areas or any joints, so stay on the meaty, the muscular part. And if you end up touching the hip as you roll up, just make that your stopping point. And I like to do the top third as well. So you're rolling just to below the hip. Don't roll over the hip. And you can break this up into thirds, into 2 parts, whatever you want. Just make sure you're not stressing out your shoulder if you're rolling too far forward and backwards. It puts a lot of weight there. And now you can pause the video and do that for 1 to 3 minutes more if you'd like, because every exercise can be done upwards of 10 minutes each. But 1 to 3 minutes more is usually good. So now technique 2, the quadriceps. You're going to come with the hips square to the mat, come onto your forearms, and come into like a plank with knees on the ground. The roller comes on the front of the leg just above the knee, and you roll up the leg towards the hip. You're getting the front of the leg this time instead of the side. It's the quadricep. And if you want to bring that left knee off the ground, that'll increase the intensity. You can even bring the left knee on top of the right. It'll increase the intensity even more. But again, it shouldn't be super painful or uncomfortable. It should feel like a nice deep tissue massage. Once you go from the top of the knee about halfway up the quadricep, go halfway up the quadricep to just below the hip. So we're breaking this up into 2 parts, from above the knee to halfway up the quad. Again, do not roll over the knee. Do not roll over the knee. And again, you can put that left knee on top of the right for added intensity. And after you've done that bottom part again, move up about halfway up the quadricep and roll to just below the hip. And if you get up towards the hip and it's a little too sensitive, then back off those areas. And again, you can pause the video and do this for 1 to 3 more minutes to whatever feels good for you. That way you'll get the full extent of the roll. It'll feel about like an hour-long deep tissue massage if you do both sides. All right. Moving on to technique 3, the inside of the upper leg. So again, come onto your forearms, but bring your right knee out to the side, opening up the right hip. Bend through the right knee, and the roller comes on the inside of the right leg, above the knee. And again, we're going to roll up towards the hip. So going about halfway from the above the knee to the hip, about half of that way on the inside of the leg. And this one is really nice if you have any knee pain or knee tightness. I've found that this oftentimes clears up that tension or tightness for me after I've extensively rolled this area. And then do the second half, so go from halfway up the leg to just below the hip. Do not roll over the hip. And again, going at about 1 inch or 2.5 centimeters per second. So we're breaking this one up into 2 areas, from just above the knee to halfway up towards the hip, and then from that point up to just below the hip. Again, you can pause the video and do this for 1 to 3 more minutes to really loosen up that area. Technique 4, the glute muscles. You're going to come sitting on the ground, knees bent, feet flat on the ground. Now the fingers can face forward or they can face backward. Try to do what feels best for your wrist. I like keeping them back. And then you're going to bring the butt off the ground and put the roller just below the waistline. So about 1 inch or 2.5 centimeters below the waistline. And then you're going to roll it down towards your butt and then back up towards the waist. It's only about 3 to 5 inches. So that's around 10 to 15 centimeters. That's the area that you're rolling. And if you want to increase the intensity, you make a figure 4 shape with the right leg. So you bring the outside of the right ankle to the left thigh. That exposes that muscle a little more and you can get deeper into the area. And again, we're just rolling over the meaty parts. So if you roll over any bony parts, you just stop there. And I like to bring this one to the outside towards my hip, about 1 inch or 2.5 centimeters, and do the outside of the glute as well. Again, this just feels good for me. It could feel good for you, but you can see if it feels good to move the roller to the right or left laterally and roll out different parts of this glute muscle area. And if you would like, you can pause the video and do that for 2 to 3, or maybe just 1 more minute. All right, let's get into technique 5, the hamstrings. So you're still sitting down, and the roller comes on the back of your leg just above the knee, and you roll up towards the hip. So you're going from just above the knee on the back of the leg to just below the butt. So before you hit any bony areas there, you want to stop. But we're breaking it up into 2 parts. So we're just doing from the back of the knee, just above the back of the knee, to halfway up. An option to bring the left knee on top of the right for added intensity here. Just helps get deeper into that area. And we want to be mindful of the shoulders and wrists, not rolling too far forward and back. The more you can keep your shoulders right over the wrist, the better it is. That's why we break this into 2 areas. So now we're going halfway up the back of the leg to just below the butt area. So that's the second area to get that entire hamstring. Feels good. This can cause some back pain if you have tight hamstrings. So loosening it up could even help your lower back. If you'd like to increase the intensity on the second part, from halfway up to just below the butt area, that's fine. And feel free to pause this video if you'd like and do this for 1 to 3 more minutes to really loosen up that area. And before we move on to our last technique of this session, which is the calf muscles. So you're in the same position, seated. The foam roller comes on the back of the leg, just above the ankle. And you're going to roll up towards the back of the knee. We're going to break this one up into 2 to 3 parts. So start with going just above the ankle to about 1/3 of the way up. And if you find any areas of tension, you stop and you can go side to side on this area for about 10 repetitions there. And then going up further, if you feel any areas of tension, you can stop and go side to side for about 10 repetitions. This just helps relieve that tension. Rather than just going in one direction, we can stop and go with the other direction as well. To increase intensity in this technique, again, you bring the left leg on top of the right. This will be about the left calf on the right shin. And that will help push down more on the right calf so you can get deeper in with the foam roller. And we're going up to the second part, which is about halfway up the calf to just below the knee. Do not roll over the knee, but you can come just up to the back of the knee right below it. And again, if you feel any areas of tension, you can stop on those areas and go laterally side to side for about 10 repetitions, back and forth. This one should feel good, especially if you're a runner and you do a lot of running on the balls of your feet rather than on the heels. If you're an athlete and you jump a lot, and the calves can get a little tight, so this is nice to roll them out and help them feel good. So when you're performing or doing whatever you do, you feel good in the back of the legs, like they're ready to go. And again, we're moving up and down. We're breaking it up into 2 parts. And if you like, you can stop the video here and do this for 1 to 3 more minutes. And that concludes the tutorials. We got the left leg still to do. So please go through this again doing the left leg, unless you just want to feel really imbalanced or you just needed to open up the right leg and the left is doing fine. So the foam roller is a great tool. We really hope that you continue to use it and make your body feel good. So thank you so much for joining and taking care of your body with the foam roller. Have a wonderful rest of the day.